Hey y'all, I'm Rylan. Welcome to my channel. One of my biggest goals for 2024 is to bring my NetGalley ratio up to 80%. At the time that I am starting this vlog, my NetGalley ratio is currently at 65%, I believe, which isn't awful in the long run because I have over 200 arcs that I've either been approved for and haven't yet read or approved for and have already read. But in 2023, I think I maybe raised my ratio about 4% because I kept requesting and then like reviewing one or two books, but then requesting some more and then reviewing one more book, and like I never got anywhere in my ratio. So this year we're taking it seriously. I will be hopefully getting my NetGalley ratio up to 80%, and as a way to kind of like hold myself accountable in doing so, I am going to be hopefully doing a NetGalley reading vlog every single month of this year until I get my ratio up to 80%. If I end up getting past that, that's great. I have, I think, about 80 arcs on NetGalley that are unread still. So 3 a month would be 36 this year. That should get me past 80% hopefully, but it's gonna be a challenge, a good challenge hopefully. But hopefully while I am also building this ratio up, I'm not requesting things very much this year. I do also get a lot of random widgets for books. Some I take, some I don't take, but I do get those as well. So if I get a widget for a book that sounds interesting, I do download it as well because I'm already approved to read it. So we need to have some self-control on that this year. But I think I'll be okay, hopefully, maybe, because I think something has maybe settled in my brain, like something serious, and I've acknowledged for real the importance of achieving this goal, because it's ridiculous how long some of these arcs that I have on my shelves have been on there for. Like some of these books that I have been on my shelf since 2020, and that's just sad. So today is the start of my January NetGalley reading vlog. I have 4 books on my NetGalley TBR. I don't technically do TBRs for this month. One of them I will not be talking about in this video because I'm going to do a review video for it, hopefully right around its release date. But the 3 arcs that I'll be reading for this vlog are The Clinic by Kate Quinn, which comes out I think January 24th. This Megan Badley by Samantha Markham, which I think came out in 2022 or 2023. And then the last book that I'll be reading is The Night of the Storm by Nishita Parekh. It will function as my normal videos where I'll update y'all every 50% of the way through these books. 2 thrillers, 1 YA contemporary, very different like genres. But I wanted to do some recent releases or upcoming releases because The Clinic and The Night of the Storm come out this month of this year, but this Megan Badley is very much a backlisted, so I'm hoping to do kind of like a new release every month paired alongside 1 or 2 backlisted books for every NetGalley vlog of this year. So that's the plan for this reading vlog. I have no idea what I'll end up starting with. It'll be a surprise for y'all, as it will be a surprise for me because I have not thought this far ahead yet. I just wanted to get this vlog started this week, and I need to finish up some current reads first, get another vlog progressed before I work on this one for real. But that is the plan. I will hop back in here once I have picked out my first book, and at 50% of the way through, I will try to do a solid job. I feel like most of my videos I do okay at giving synopses. I'll try to give a good synopsis as well as some like clear thoughts on the book. I might at the end of this video do full reviews, short full reviews for these books, depending on how coherent my thoughts are during the vlog, but we will see about that part. But if y'all want to see reviews for some of these NetGalley arcs, whether I read them for these vlogs or not, let me know, because I do like doing review videos and it is on my list to do more consistently this year. I've got 2 or 3 videos that I plan to have come out in January, and I plan to make it like a once a week thing where one of my videos is like a sit down video or a reading vlog, and then my other video for the week is a review video. So if you want to see full reviews for any of these, let me know, but I'm gonna try to do a thorough job at like explaining the books and then sharing my clear thoughts on them whenever I do give y'all updates. But I'll hop back in here, I don't know, probably not anytime super soon, my first updates, and until then, I don't know, I will see you. Happy Monday, y'all. We're as happy as a Monday can be. It is still early January, currently January 8th, and I'm here to share what I started reading for this vlog first. The book that I ended up choosing to read was Night of the Storm. This is a very interesting thriller so far. Nothing super like twisted has happened yet, but it is very eerie, and there have been some very unusual things that occur in this book so far that make me think it's gonna end up being a fun one. I am almost 50% of the way through it. That's why I'm gonna go ahead and like do my update for it now. This is a thriller that takes place during, I think it's Hurricane Harvey was the one in Texas like 7 years ago in 2017, I believe. And we follow a multi-generational Indian family who is stuck in this hurricane. Our main character is at her sister's house with her son, and apparently they were all supposed to evacuate that area, but her sister did not tell her that when the main character and her son went over to her house to wait out the hurricane. And they are isolated in this neighborhood except for one man who lives down the street, and our main character's tires have been slashed. Her car is now wrecked. She's a single mother and is currently in the middle of like refighting for custody of her son after her ex-husband decides that she is not fit to be a mother, or that she is not fit to be his only caregiver. And so she's stressed out about that, but weird things keep happening in this neighborhood, in this house, outside of this house, that make things not right. There's not just a hurricane going on right now, there is more than that, and I'm very curious to see. She also has a very secretive past with her sister's husband. I'm guessing that they had an affair, but I'm not quite sure all the details yet, but that's what we're like lining up for it to be. But I'm enjoying it so far. It only has like a 3.44 rating on Goodreads. The book hasn't released. It comes out on January 16th, so not for another week. But I personally am enjoying it. I love not knowing quite what's going on in my thrillers, so I do appreciate that element of this book. I think it's fun so far. We'll see what ends up happening in the second half of the book, but it is definitely mysterious and eerie. I love a good isolated setting in a thriller, and this isolated setting is in a mansion type house in a nice part of town, but things just aren't right, and I'm super excited to see what that means exactly in the midst of this storm that's going on, or this hurricane that's going on. Speaking of hurricane, we're supposed to have like a really big windstorm here tonight with like 45-mile-an-hour gusts, so I'll be curious to see if we lose power. This happened 6 months ago, I think. During the summer there was a huge windstorm and we were out of power for over 24 hours, and I had to go stay somewhere else because our apartment didn't have windows. Pretty much we had like very small ones and not very many of them, so like there was no light. Like I couldn't see even during the day really a lot of things, and as the sun went down it just got super dark on our apartment, and it was cold, or maybe it was super hot. It was the summer. It was probably super hot, and it was just miserable. So I'm hoping that that doesn't happen with this windstorm that's theoretically supposed to come in the next 2 hours or so. But also if it does, maybe everything will shut down and I won't have to go to work tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But I'm enjoying this book. I'll hop back into my next updates and then I'll figure out what I'm gonna read next. I'll probably go ahead and go with the young adult contemporary book to kind of like split up the two thrillers that I have for this vlog. But so far so good. I will update y'all with my final thoughts in a couple of days. Okay. So I have pink eye today, and so I'm home from work today. I'm on antibiotics for it, but I think it's spreading from my left eye to my right eye, which is just awesome. But while I am feeling kind of uncomfortable, like my eyes are feeling kind of uncomfortable just because they're so like itchy, and like one is swollen and one is like starting to swell, and you know I can just like feel all the crust and the stuff coming out of it. Sorry, TMI probably. I have just like sat down here in this chair and read, and I did end up finishing The Night of the Storm, and I think I'm gonna give it 4 stars. I really enjoyed this one. I do feel as though I kind of had to, one second. Okay, sorry. Anyway, I do kind of feel as though I have had to suspend some of my belief with this book. I do feel as though there are like some potential, not plot holes, but just like plot, and not inconsistencies either, but just some points where we could have gotten some more details that lined up everything a little bit better. But I did have fun with it, and it was a really quick read, so I'm gonna go ahead and give it 4 stars. It was a fun thriller. I don't think I've read one like this before where it takes place during a storm, and I just thought that that in and of itself made it unique and fun, because like they're not just isolated, but they're trapped, and they're trapped by a natural disaster. I like cannot even see my camera clearly when I'm cleaning my glasses, so y'all are blurred, or the screen is blurred right now. Yeah, like they're trapped by forces that are out of their control in terms of like natural disaster stuff, and I thought it was super fun. It was very fitting that I read this book, or I read most of this book, like today and yesterday, because there have been storms around the country, I think, around the US, but also like around where I live specifically. Big windstorm, big rainstorm. It's calmed down a lot, but I went out a little bit ago and took a Bookstagram picture with my copy of the book on my Kindle for Bookstagram, because like the book is about a storm. It's storming here. Like I got rained on, but that's okay. It's also very chilly here. So I just thought like the vibes were pretty immaculate for this time of year, for the time that I read it. And I had a good time with it. I love a good locked room mystery. This one was fun. It was nothing I haven't necessarily read before. Again, I had to kind of suspend some of that belief in what was going on, but I'm totally willing to do that sometimes in my books, and I think for the case of this one it worked really well. Content warning for murder, cheating, poisoning, divorce, like unwanted, like what's the word? Unwanted inappropriate pictures, unwanted affections, not affections, that's not the right word, unwanted attempts at an affair, if that makes sense. Blood, I mean natural disaster, flooding is like what gets them stuck here in the first place, and bullying with one of the kids in this book. That's another pretty big one. But yeah, overall I had a really good time with it. It was a quick read, which I can never complain about, and I thought it was entertaining. It kept me invested, and I'll be curious to see the reaction that it gets from people when it comes out next week. It's the 9th right now, and the book comes out in 1 week. So another arc that I read ahead of time. That's 2 arcs this year that I've read before release date, which is super exciting. So yeah, I had a good time with that. I would personally recommend it. It's probably not going to be everyone's cup of tea, and but I had a good time with it, and would be interested to see what this author, this is a debut book by the way, but I'd be interested to see what this author might gravitate toward next. But yeah, I had a good time with it. I think for my second book for this video, I mentioned the 3 that I was reading. I think I'm gonna go and do the YA contemporary. I feel like I said that in my last clip that I was gonna split up the 2 thrillers, but I'm gonna read the YA contemporary. This is an older release. I need to read it naturally. No idea what it's about, but I think it might take place at a boarding school just based off the cover, or some sort of like prep fancy school. So yeah, I plan to start this one this week / this weekend. I also am like begging for a snow day, because as of right now there's a chance of snow here, which is not super common. I have not seen snow since I moved to Nashville, but there's like a chance of snow, and there's a chance of a big snow, like 7 inches for us at once, which would be pretty awesome, because I think we'd be shut down, like my school that I work at would be shut down for 1 or 2 days, just based off like what I've heard about what they've done in the past when this has happened before I moved here. So that would be fun. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, so maybe I'll get to wrap this vlog up during a snow day. That would be great, but we will see. For right now, yeah, that's all that I got for y'all. I'll come back in here when I get to 50% in my current read, or my next read. This may end badly, and I will talk to y'all later. I just got out of bed, which is why, yikes, I look like this. I wanted to get this update done because I wanted to keep listening to my book while I got ready for the day. But last night I got to 53% of This Ends Badly and had to force myself to stop, because I would have loved to keep going with it. But I'm really enjoying this one. It is a YA contemporary that takes place at a girls boarding school and a boys boarding school that they live across the street from each other, and they have been in rivalry for years. Our main character, Dorothy, she is a senior this year and is very much leading the charge on pranking the boys all the time, and she like hates some of these guys over there. And when it's announced that the schools next year are going to merge, she is very angry about it, even though she won't even be there next year. But she says that she's mad because it's about the legacy and the fact that the opportunities that have been provided for the girls at that school will be diminished, if not altogether taken away, when the boys are like in the spotlight again, because you know, like the boys are always more focused on than the girls and their accomplishments. But she ends up fake dating one of the boys from the school to make her like biggest enemy mad and angry, and definitely works. But he needs her to do something for him regarding their family and like an heirloom that is his, but he doesn't have it because his grandfather changed the will last minute. It's a lot of like wealthy families in this book. I am loving it. I will say the main character, Dorothy, is pretty annoying sometimes, but I also like just think the whole plot is really fun and entertaining. Nothing that I went through in high school personally, but like I have been like laughing out loud at some of the moments between the characters, because it's just, I love a good rivalry and I love a good boarding school setting, and I feel as though this one is just really, really fun. I will say I'm gonna be mad if the person that she's fake dating now is not the person that she ends up with at the end of this book, because I think they make the best couple. I'm keeping it vague so as not to spoil anything. They make the best couple even though they're fake dating, and I'm afraid that she's not actually going to end up with him, and that would make me super duper sad. So I'm like actually keeping my fingers crossed, and if they don't end up together, or if she ends up with somebody else, this book is probably gonna get a 1 or 2 star from me, because I feel like it would have come out of left field after all that we've been through so far in the book. And the audiobook is like 10 hours long, so it's definitely a longer book to get through. But what was I saying? But if she doesn't end up with anybody, I think I would be able to accept that, just depending on how we go about getting there, because I feel as though like, man, the guy that she's fake dating makes a really good fake boyfriend, and I want him to be a real boyfriend, but we'll see. So I'm a little bit nervous about that, but I'm loving the pranks that they're doing. I'm loving the drama and like the sneaking around, because their school does have kind of strict rules, but I love a good boarding school setting, and I feel like this is a very fun one. I haven't really seen this book around Instagram at all, and it came out in 2022, I believe, so maybe I just missed it when it did come out because I wasn't paying attention, but I'm like obsessed with this book. It probably won't be a 5-star just because the girl is kind of annoying, but I do anticipate giving this book a 4-star rating right now, but we'll see what ends up happening. I'm only 50% of the way through the book, so there is definitely time for things to change, but I will come back in here with my final update hopefully later today or tomorrow. We do anticipate a big snowstorm, well, quote-unquote big snowstorm, but for here it'll probably be a big deal if we actually get the snow. So I'm hoping to have a couple extra days off work this week, but I am already off tomorrow because of MLK Day, so I'll hopefully hop back in here then with my final update. The snowstorm is supposed to hit starting like right now, so I'm waiting for snow to fall on the ground, but I don't know if it's actually gonna like be as bad as people are anticipating it to be, but whatever. But I did finish a little bit ago reading This May End Badly by Samantha Markham, and I actually gave this book 5 stars. I am obsessed with it. I just actually bought a physical copy of it on Pango for $2.50 with some Pango books that I had, so that's super exciting. But I ended up giving this book 5 stars. I was tearing up during it. The romance was so fun, the friendships were so fun, the drama was fun, the pranks were hilarious, and like the overall found family element almost in the end was just really, really sweet. And they all like ended up teaming together. They set aside their differences and came together for the greater good of protecting their own, and I loved it. 5 stars to this book. I feel like it's pretty underrated. I rated it on my Goodreads and it has a couple of thousand ratings and reviews, but nothing super crazy, and I don't really see this one around on Instagram, so I'm excited to have a physical copy, take Bookstagram pictures with it, and share my review because I actually ended up loving this one. Is our main female character Doe Perfect? Absolutely not. But I do feel as though she grew so much, and even though she was annoying at times, I was able to overlook that for just like how fun the rest of the book was. So that's this one. But that means that I will be starting my last book for this vlog ASAP, and that is going to be The Clinic by Kate Quinn. I don't know what to expect of this one. I want to read this author's released book, which is called Black Widow or Black Widows, about these 3 wives who like kill their husband, although they didn't know they were married, like they were all married to him or something like that. I don't know. I want to read that book though, which is why I was excited to like get approved for this one, I guess. Even though I haven't even read the author's other book yet, I was still like, yes, another arc, another thriller. It gives off isolation vibes just based off the cover, winter vibes as well. It is Sunday. Tomorrow I am off work for the holiday, but I'm kind of hoping we get a couple more days off this week with the snowstorm that's supposed to be coming. It is super cold outside. It is very cold, and so like they don't anticipate the snow melting at all for a couple of days because it will be so cold here. The roads will probably get cleared up if it ends up snowing in a couple of days, but we might still get a snow day out of it, maybe, hopefully. I don't know, but fingers crossed, because I would love that. But I'll update y'all when I get to 50% of this book. I need to read some books for another vlog as well, so I'll be reading this one while starting that other vlog officially. But I do think it'll be a quick read. These other 2 books have been quick reads so far, so I think it'll be good. But I'll hop back in here with an actual synopsis because I have zilch idea what this book is about. So I'll talk to y'all soon, hopefully tomorrow maybe, depending on how my reading goes for the rest of the day. It's only 4:19. It's already 4:19, but I've finished This May End Badly. I'm almost done with another book that I'm in the middle of. I think it'll be a good day. But yeah, I will talk to you all later. We got the snowstorm that I was talking about, I think in my last clip for this video. We got like 8 inches where I am, but upwards of 9 inches in some other areas near me. And I'm really excited because I had a day off work already for MLK Day, but I also have tomorrow, as I fall over, tomorrow and Wednesday off work as well, which is kind of nice. I don't really know what to do with myself because I'm not back in school yet either, but I have been reading a lot today. I have gotten ahead on some pre-reading for school because we do have a book that we have to read by the first night of class in a week from today. So I've got a jump start on that, but I did just reach 50% of the way through The Clinic by Kate Quinn, and or almost 50% of the way through, and I am kind of really obsessed with it. I don't think this author's other book has really great ratings, but this one is very captivating so far. It is about this woman who supposedly unalives herself while she's in rehab, but the situation doesn't exactly line up the right way and the police are starting to investigate it, and this rehab director, I guess, like doesn't want the police involved. He's very shady. They're very isolated in this clinic on this hill, on this cliff, and it's known to treat like celebrities and wealthy people, and there's just a lot of mystery about this place and about this celebrity's death. Her name was Haley, and so Haley's sister is an undercover cop of sorts. She mostly works with like casinos and gambling, things like that, but she goes unofficially undercover to figure out what really happened to her sister because she knows that there's no way that her sister unalived herself the way that they're saying she did, and so she wants to find out the truth, and there's a lot of mystery surrounding this place, and it's very interesting. The chapters are super short. There's over 100 chapters in this book, which at first made me nervous And this is a longer thriller. I think it's over 400 pages. And at first, like, my first thought is, why does a thriller need to be this long? But I have gotten into it. I am a lot of chapters into it. They are pretty short. We rotate between Meg's POV, the sister of the famous person, and Kara, who is the manager of the clinic. So she does like a lot of the organizational things for the director, Dr. Lutz, and the psychologist or psychiatrist, one of those two terms. But things aren't quite right, and she knows that something's not right, and I think right now she's trying to kind of grapple with what side she's on. And it's very interesting so far. I love the rehab vibes, like the isolated vibes. This is a very interesting rehabilitation center, and I'm very intrigued by it. So I'm excited to keep going with it. I do hope to finish it, if not tonight, then tomorrow. I've got nothing but time on my hands for the next couple of days since we've been snowed in. I keep like looking outside the window, like there's a lot of snow out there. But yeah, that's my update for right now. I'll hop back in here one more time once I finish the book. I anticipate it being fun. I have no idea what to expect with the rest of it, but I am liking it so far, so we will see what ends up happening. Last night I finished reading The Clinic by Kate Quinn, and I'm giving it 4 stars. I really enjoyed it. I will say there were some details included in the book that I felt as though either were not thoroughly explored or were necessary maybe to the overarching story. There's a lot of, for me at least, confusion about Meg and Haley's pasts, and like it's kind of all just a blur, and I don't quite understand what happened to them growing up still. Some of those details are in the book, but not like in a clear-cut flashback scene or a clear-cut summary that I was able to kind of like picture in my head very well. And there are a couple of other parts in the book near the very end that I was like, okay, like not necessary, or like, I don't know, just a little bit of confusion. However, I do think that this was a very fun and very different thriller. It was not one that I have read before personally, and so I had a really good time with it. It was very addicting. It was fast-paced. There were some plot twists that I was not expecting. The setting was as morbid as it is for what ended up going on in this place. The ending, or the setting, was super fun. We're in like all these different rooms in this clinic, and they're very unique. It's a very unique place, I will say. The intentions of Dr. Lutz are not great, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. So 4 stars to this book. I'll have all the content warnings for it down below. I need to write my review for this book and This May End Badly today. So I'll have content warnings for both of those in the description down below. But to give a quick wrap up of this vlog, also like our apartment is so cold, which is why I'm wrapped up in a blanket. I read 3 books for this vlog, which is great. My monthly goal for NetGalley this year is to read 3 books a month. So January at least has been a success. But I read The Night of the Storm and gave that book 4 stars. This May End Badly and gave that book 5 stars. And then The Clinic and gave that one 4 stars. So overall, a very successful reading vlog. I don't tend to give a lot of books 5 stars. So the fact that I found one in a NetGalley reading vlog with a backlist is very exciting. And I have a physical book on the way of it, so that's awesome. But yeah, that is another successful reading vlog. That is probably one of the like highest rated vlogs I've had in a minute, so love that. But I will be hopefully planning to do one of these every single month to help keep me accountable for my NetGalley ratio. So this is my January reading vlog. Yay, 3 NetGalley books read. Hopefully my ratio goes up by 1% or something like that. But yeah, that's all that I have for this reading vlog. If you have read any of these books already or plan to, feel free to comment down below and let me know your thoughts on them or what you're hoping to rate them if you do plan to read them. But yeah, that's all that I have for this video today. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.